All good? Okay. So, successful goal setting 101. Today, I'm going to start by talking about how to set a goal, how to come up with the goal, the reasons behind the goal, and really taking control of that vision. So we're going to dive right in there and, talk about what is a goal? Why are goals so important to us? Goals really, without them, we go through life based on others' motivation, others' insights, others' beliefs. We aren't doing what we truly desire and what our dreams are. By ignoring our dreams and by ignoring our desires, we are really giving up our power. Goals allow us to develop new behaviors, to create a focus, and to motivate our lives in a forward momentum. So it's really, really important that we have goals in every aspect of our life, whether it's as an individual, as a mom, as a career woman, as a business owner. It's really important that we develop goals in each one of those aspects of life. $1 million question, why set a goal? A goal really can help us perform better at our job. It can help elevate our energy levels. It can provide a roadmap that will allow us to move forward and allow us to be accountable, as well as define what we truly want in life. Goals help us to stay focused. There was a study done in Harvard many years ago, and it was basically asking graduates, did they or did they not have a goal for their future? 3% of them said, yes, I have a goal and I've written it down. I know what my future looks like. 13% said, yes, I have a goal, but I haven't written it down. And 84% said, no, don't really know what my future holds. 10 years later, they went back to those graduates. The ones that had written down their goal, they were 10 times more profitable in their life than any of the other graduates, just because they had written the goal down. The ones that didn't write the goal down but did have a goal, they were 2 times more profitable than all the other graduates. They were 2 times further ahead in life. They had a better income, they had better health benefits, things like that. But it was that 3% that had taken the time to write the goal down. Those were the ones that were truly successful. So identifying your goals, this is a challenge for people. This is hard for people to do. We have so many goals, right? And we have to think first, is this really my goal? Or does this belong to somebody else? Is this what my parents want me to do, what my partner wants me to do, what the business wants me to do, what society is telling me to do, or maybe even social media now in the world that we live in? Whose goal are you actually moving towards? Is it truly your goal? And that's a question that you have to constantly ask yourself through this process. Knowing what you want, it can be challenging, and we forget to use our imagination. We forget that everything in this world at some point was a thought, an imagination, somebody's goal, and we need to put that into practice in our own world. We need to believe in ourselves and in our goal to make it a reality. So there's 5 principles to setting a goal. First is clarity. We need to be clear. We need to be specific with no confusion over our goals, no matter how big or how small they are. Nothing generic, not, oh, I want to make $1,000 a week. That's generic. That's sub-level. Why? Why do you want to make $1,000 a week? What is that real goal that you're going after? It's not the $1,000 a week. There's something more there. There's something deeper there. You need to challenge yourself when you're putting these goals together. Think big, dream big. There's going to be lots of little goals to get to that big one. That's the one you want. When you go out fishing, you don't want to keep catching the little minnows. You want to get the big fish that you can, show everybody, look how much it weighed, right? So you need to be committed. You need to want to go and do it and have a point of doing this, a reason for doing this. You need to talk to the people around you in your life. Don't keep your goals to yourself. You need to have feedback from them. You need to understand the expectations and the plan in place. And finally, you need to make sure that it's aligned with your goals in life. Your tasks are all aligned. Everything you're doing is moving you towards that goal. So identifying your goals, we have these 5 principles. Okay. Now we need to start writing them down. Writing your goals down, like I said to you, that 3% is so important. You're giving yourself something that's concrete, that you can stick to, that you can actually go back to. Personally, I write a lot of goals on Post-it notes and put them all over the place. If I have a goal, that I want to make sure that I'm eating healthy, I might leave that goal in the kitchen. If I have a goal that I want to make sure I'm taking the dog for a walk, I might stick that goal on the back of my front door. We need to have that visualization of our goals. We put so much into our phones, but how often do we actually go back and read it? How often do we get a ping from our phone that says, hey, what about this goal? How are you doing on that? Right? It doesn't happen. We have to actually put it out into the world in order for it to happen. So when you first start looking at your goals, you're going to start, and you might have resistance, okay? Not everybody wants to set goals. People are afraid of success. People are afraid of failure, So the first part is really starting to think about, what are my goals? What is important to me in life? What will these goals do for me? And are they, like I said before, my goals? So then we start to think about, okay, so what are these goals? And we start to brainstorm. So this is the first step of the workbook that I'm going to be sharing with everybody, is figuring out your goals, identifying your goals. The first part of this is you need to brainstorm. You need to write on a piece of paper at least 50 goals. And 50 goals sounds like a lot. How can I have 50 goals in life? They can be small goals, big goals, it doesn't matter. Realistic, unrealistic, just brain dump onto this piece of paper things that you want in your lifetime, not just now, but throughout your life. Put it all on a piece of paper. What do you want and what do they mean to you? And then you're going to look at those goals, those 50 or more goals, and you're going to start to group them and simplify them and realize that, okay, well, this is the end goal. And here I have 3 or 4 other ones that are going to get me to that. And that becomes a group. And you're going to continue to look at them and assess them and say, well, this will take a year, and this one might take 5 years, and this one I'm hoping for retirement. And you're going to start and see a plan come into place. And then after that, you have this list. You're going to start to build confidence in your list, and you're going to start to believe in all of these goals that are going to get you to this end game. And then you're going to prioritize 1, 2, and 3. Which ones are the most important to you? Which ones will give you what you are looking for in life? And you're going to pick 2. So we've gone from 50 to 2, your top 2 goals. And in those top 2 goals, there might be 5, 6, 7, 8 of the littler goals in your 50, but it's those top 2 goals. Those are the ones that you want to identify, the ones that are going to make the biggest impact on your life, the ones that are going to make you feel like you have a purpose, you have accomplished something. And I love this quote on the other side: a dream written down A dream written down with a date becomes a goal. A goal broken down with steps becomes a plan. A plan backed up by actions makes your dreams come true. So you have your 2 goals, right? Where's your motivation? How are we going to get those goals? How are we going to make sure that every single day we are doing something? What is your big reason why? Why do you want those goals? What's behind it? If you believe that you accomplish this, whatever it is, what will that give you? So I am going to accomplish this goal and it is going to give me what? What are you after? What do you want in life? I'll give you an example. Okay. A client says to me, I want to be more productive at work. Well, why do you want to be more productive at work? Well, because I'd really like to get a promotion in the next year. Well, why do you want a promotion in the next year? Because by that time, I'm going to be around 32 and I'd really like to start making a little bit more money. Well, why do you want to make a little bit more money at 32? Because I'd like to buy a bigger house for me and my wife. Well, why would you like to buy a bigger house for you and your wife at 32? Because we'd really like to have a big family. Well, why would you like to have a big family? Because I was adopted when I was raised and I always had a dream of having a lot of kids. So there it is. There's his why. His why is that he has the step of becoming more productive. He has the goal of getting a promotion. He has the goal of getting more money and buying a house. I want to be that independent woman. That's goal number 1 for me. My second goal is healthy. I want to be healthy so that I can do things like travel the world, chase my son around. Those are 2 things that are important to me. So when I look at my financial stability and I think about what is financial stability to me, and I write down my feelings around that, which is important, right? Write it down, write down feelings. I write down that financial stability gives me freedom. Financial stability makes me feel stable. It makes me feel confident. It makes me feel carefree. And then I look at the healthy goal and I write down my feelings around that goal. And I think to myself, well, that makes me feel alive. It makes me feel confident. It makes me feel energized. It makes me feel carefree. And suddenly I see words popping up that are in both of my goals. Carefree. I want to be carefree in life. I don't want to have to worry about money. I don't want to have to worry about my health because I know I'm healthy and I know I'm financially stable. So anything that we do with goals always comes back to your feelings and what we want to feel in life. Whether it's our business and we want to feel successful and we want to feel that we've helped others and we want to feel that we've grown and we've given back to our community, or whether it's ourselves. Either way, there's feelings involved in our goals. I hope this is making sense so far. Couple of nods. Okay, good. When I was practicing this with my husband, he told me I had to slow down because I talk fast. So hopefully it's okay. So vision, create a vision. I have a lot of clients that say to me, I don't want to create a vision. What are you talking about? I can't see the future. Why do I need a vision board? You want me to print pictures out and stick them on a wall? Like, why? What does this have to do with my goal? Right? Like, why do I need to see my dream and feel my dream? So I'm going to give everybody a scenario. Okay. I want everyone to take a look at this picture. Okay. I want you to close your eyes. Okay. Take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath out. Picture yourself on this beach. Picture the waves coming in and out. You can feel the breeze on your skin, and you can feel the sun touching your skin, warming it up. You're just relaxed and you're just enjoying this moment. And then all of a sudden, you open your eyes and you see me walking down the beach with a tray. And you're wondering, what is Jenna doing here on this beautiful beach with a tray? But you're enjoying the sun so much, and you can feel your skin's almost starting to melt. It's just so warm and so delightful. And I get closer and I sit down next to you and I put this silver tray next to you, and you look down at it and you see the most beautiful, brightest, vibrant green limes you have ever seen in your life. And you wonder, what is Jenna doing with these gorgeous limes? So I pick up a lime, I don't say anything to you, and I cut it. And as I cut the lime, the juice kind of squirts everywhere. And you think, oh, that is the juiciest lime I have ever seen in my life. And I flip half over and I cut it again, and the juices squirt all over the tray in between the other limes. And you think to yourself, oh my goodness, what incredible limes. And I pick the lime up and I hand it to you, and you put it in your mouth. Can you taste the lime? You can open your eyes now. Could you taste the lime? Could you feel the heat? There's no lime right now. There's no sun right now. These are all things that are in our mind that we have experienced at some point in our life. And that is why visions and vision boards and vision letters are so important. We have to train our minds, our unconscious side, that left analytical side, to listen to the right side and work with it to attain those goals. The vision piece of goal setting is so important. Okay, so how do we start? Not everybody likes vision boards. You know, vision boards change, I find, with time too. I personally like vision writing. So what I've included today is the worksheet on how to do vision writing. Vision writing is really, really important because you have your 4 Ps. So you look at your vision and you take your 2 goals. And so you would do this for each goal, and you would write a vision statement or a story in present tense, as though you are there right now in that goal, living that life. So, you know, if your goal is to be financially stable, living in Florida, you know, with a margarita in your hand and a dog named Oreo, that's what you're going to write about. Okay? That's where you want to be. You know, it's going to be as though you are living it right now. And it's going to be written in the I tense. I am doing this, not we, I. I am on the beach with my margarita, living a healthy life. And you're going to be positive about it. You're going to use positive words and in your language, in the way that you would normally speak. You're not going to say, I don't smoke anymore. You're going to say, I live a really healthy life and I am smoke free, because that's the positive way of saying it. And you're going to have passion behind it. If you're writing a vision, or you're writing a vision board, or even take a step back, if you're doing the brainstorming and you're not passionate about it, you have to stop. Because if you truly do not want this, then that's not the goal for you. Maybe you need to think bigger. Maybe we need to look at changing what your life goals are. You know, you have to make sure that this is something that you really want and you're willing to do whatever you have to get there. And I always like to add in the 5th P. And that's your power. You have the power to change anything in your life. You have the power to look at things that aren't working for you, no matter how big or how small they are, and make the change. Through little steps, big steps, that is up to you, but the power is yours. The choice is yours. A negative mind will never give you a positive life. That is something I say to my son all the time, whether it's him arguing over his video game or not wanting to get an online learning. I say to him, you need to be positive, because listen, that negative attitude is not going to get you anywhere, and nobody's going to want to be around you. So that is how we write our vision. Final thoughts. So my final thoughts on this is, setting a goal is so important to where you want to get in life. After you set a goal, you realize your true why, and you have a vision, then you can start to build your path. Then you can start to look at all those little goals within that 50 list and start to make your stepping stones and start to have fun with it and start to live and have a purpose. Thank you. I want to open it up to you guys.
Jenna, that was great. I love the 5 Ps. That's something like a big takeaway for me. I love that language.
Yeah.
So I thought that maybe we could open it up to anyone who might have questions. You can raise your hand, wave at me, and unmute yourself. And while you're all thinking about maybe things that you want to ask, I had a question about why so I find for me that exactly the tense that I write the goal in, or an affirmation even on a daily basis,
yes,
seems to work. So why is that? Is it a signal that goes to your brain, or?
It's the left side and the right side of your brain working together, which, we have our critical and our analytical side. And very often that's the side that's like, well, why are you doing that? Oh, are you sure? And then we have our right side, which has our imagination and our creativity. And, it's saying, yeah, go, so by writing it down and having your affirmations and telling yourself, you are basically training your brain to say, yes, I can do this.
Okay.
Gotcha. So if you for a month every day wake up saying, today I'm going to eat healthy at lunch. That is what I'm going to do. That's my goal today. By the 21st, 22nd day of you saying that, your brain's already saying that as it's waking up. It already knows that that's something that you want to do.
So it's like a habit thing. That's cool. And so what do you recommend as a life coach when you're working with your clients so I think we're all really good at maybe making goals, especially in January. It's easy to put down, if you're thinking about personal goals, it's easy to talk about weight loss or health, or even with business, what does my year look ahead? How often should we check back with our goals and reassess?
So it depends on what the goal is, but if it's something that maybe you have failed at before, then I would be checking in daily. Like if it's a weight goal, check in with yourself daily. How did I do today? Like write it down and say, did I do this? And if not, why didn't I do this? That why is so important in our life. Very often, I have an excuse for this, I have an excuse for that, but why do you have that? Why? And so what I do with my clients is we actually look at a 2-week period. And if it's a self-care goal, maybe that you have every day, write in, what did you do? Well, I read for 15 minutes. I went for a walk for 30 minutes. I didn't do anything today. And this is the reason why. So then you can start to look at that.
And what does that drive down to your motivation? So maybe your motivation, you haven't gotten to your why yet.
It's that maybe you haven't got to your why yet, or maybe there's concerns with time management. You're not putting yourself first. In order for us to reach these goals, we have to make sure that we are giving ourselves the time dedicated to them. It's easy to write on a piece of paper, yeah, this is what I want to do. But if you don't plan any time to do that,
Right.
you're not going to attain it.
I read somewhere or heard somewhere that we overestimate what we can accomplish in a year, but we underestimate what we can accomplish in 5 to 7 years. And it's funny, I think of that when I look at our business owners in town, when I think, because I've seen some of you, when you've been in that, startup stage, and it feels like it was just yesterday, but, here it is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years later, and look at what you've accomplished, for the Sewing Cafe, for example. You guys were at our award ceremony that one year and we're honored, and that probably feels like not so long ago, but look at what you've been able to accomplish in a big long period. So, and I would imagine that goals are part of that. Does anyone here set goals regularly for your business or personally? Well, that's why we're all on the call. Oh, Laura does. Laura, do you want to share with us a little bit about how you do it?
Yeah, so I guess the first part of my career was all in big corporate. So they always had their annual goal setting thing. And, you had to sit down with your manager and come up with a goal and then, check in every however often that particular manager. So I definitely got into the habit of writing down goals and checking in with myself. The part that I get hung up on, maybe too much because of my career, but is that measurability piece. How do I actually know that I'm on the right track? How do I know that the steps I'm taking on it too much? Because then I micromanage it and I'm over it and I'm like, oh, I'm not. So when I started this business in June, I had 3 goals that I said to my husband, if I get anywhere close to these, I'm okay. And I won't go back into corporate world. But if I don't hit these, then I'm done. And we put it in a drawer and I didn't look at it. And then when we did say, okay, now it's Thanksgiving, that's when we said we'd look at it. It was amazing that it was still in my head and I was well on the track.
Yeah.
But for myself, I find that I spend too much time trying to say, am I on track? Am I on track? Am I on track? Am I doing it? Am I doing it? Oh, I failed. And in that sense, I will always
Oh, there's our internet.
track. That was my internet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just going to say, it's funny or not funny, but when I'm not doing well, I use I. That's when I'll use the I failed. I didn't do it. So that's my big takeaway, Jenna. That's it. You've brought up all kinds of little thoughts in my head, but that's mine.
It's kind of like weighing yourself every day, I bet. Jenna, I bet you that, if you're micromanaging the process that way.
Yeah.
So Jenna, do you have any tips for us as business owners or about how, especially in a really crazy last 10 months, and we have a few more ahead of us, what tips would you give us that we could do? I know you're going to send our the workbook out, which I'm really excited to see. But what's something we could all do this week? Just one action that would help us in either a personal goal or a business goal.
Definitely write down your goal is one and start to really brainstorm it and think about it. But the other piece is, like you said, after everything that we've gone through the last couple of years, is be kind to yourself when it comes to your goals. They are going to change. We change as business owners, we change as individuals, and reassessing them and accepting things that have gone wrong or what we may consider a failure, and pivoting and changing it and allowing it to become a positive. What worked in 2019 may not be working in 2021, and that is okay. But as business owners, we now have to say, okay, what will work now? Brainstorm together, get together. And that's why the chamber is so important. Is, business owners getting together and brainstorming, okay, how do we do this now? How do we move forward? What are the steps we need to take? You can have a big goal, but it's the little ones that are going to get you there.
Yeah, those are the steps, right?
Yeah, it's those little goals and being able to have the flexibility to change that path. and say, okay, this isn't going to be as important as it was 6 months ago, and be okay with that.
Sure, and that's being self-aware, right? So how do you recommend? So do most of your clients keep journals? How do they track what they're doing?
So everyone's a little different. Some people use their phones. Some people use journals. I have people that just stick things all over their walls, but it's right there in front of them, I'm a Post-it note person. Like if Post-it notes ever went under, I'd be in trouble, So, it's really, as long as it gets written down, as long as you are expressing it in some way, speaking to somebody about it. There was a study out there that business owners who wrote down their goal, shared their goal, and did one weekly update on their goal with the person that they shared it with, they were 33% more likely to attain their goal.
Wow.
Because there's the accountability piece there. We can have all these goals up here, but if you have that one person, that one business partner, life partner, friend, coach, whoever, who can keep you accountable and keep you on track, and who can say, okay, how are you doing? Tell me your weekly progress. That is where you become more successful.
Sure. I guess so. For the ladies at the Sewing Cafe, I'm curious. So, partnership in business. So, you must have had some goals going in. How do you work year to year to make sure that you're on track to where you both want to be? And if you don't want to talk about it, it's okay. We can do some therapy later.
We're laughing because really just flying by the seat of our pants. And like our first goal when we first opened was to teach sewing lessons. That was our goal. And we succeeded doing that. And then we started needing more and more supplies. So we started reaching out to different suppliers, and we reached our goals that way by having many suppliers call us and offer us, fabrics and things like that. And then we had people asking about long arm quilting. So we thought, oh, you know what, maybe that's something we should look into, because we were sending them away to other people to do that long arm quilting. So we thought, oh, you know what, why not? Why not? Let's get into that long arm business. And so that's been really successful. And we've been selling the machines, and we've, taken advantage of the digital marketing because we know we want to do more of that kind of stuff. So we've been asking for help with that. And
Good for you. Yeah.
So we've done those kind of things, and then expanding. So we've actually expanded. So where Anna and I are sitting is we're sitting in our new space. So if you look there's a doorway going into our old space, but that's now all just retail. So, we had this vision of expanding into the White Rabbit. And we just sort of, we kept asking and waiting. And then, he decided to retire, and it had nothing to do with the pandemic. So, we had wanted to expand. We'd wanted to expand. So we knew that was going to happen. So, yeah.
Congratulations. That's great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I asked Christine to bring an animal on, and she did. I'm so excited. That's a much nicer cat than mine, Christine. Much more friendly. So Christine, so for goals for your business, do you guys set goals for your vet service, or is it just a matter of encountering what comes along?
Both. As far as client goals, you can't really do that.
Right.
But the one thing that I touched base with you briefly about was the updating electronic, the web page, the Facebook connected, those kind of things.
Yeah.
So that part, we recognize that we need to look at and assess and make plans.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's true.
That goal actually relates to client building. That goal actually relates to client building, because by you putting yourself out there and by you building that infrastructure and getting on Facebook and those types of things, you're building your brand outside of other ways of people finding you.
Right.
So
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah. When you talk about Christine, I think you may have missed it, but Jenna talked and she'll be sending out the deck and the workbook after, but she talked about how if you write all your goals down and kind of like batch them, then say, oh, look at all of these kind of serve this one goal, and look at these ones. They're kind of common to this one bigger goal. So, yeah, I think these are all great tips. So Jenna, do you find that, that the clients you work with, the ones that are more successful, are they just more self-aware, or they are just willing to be held accountable?
Willing to be held accountable 100%. Willing to invest in themselves, in their goals, and willing to actually do the work. I mean, reaching a goal is hard work. There's no, wave of a wand, there's no fairy godmothers out there that's going to make us all princesses, right? Like, I mean, if you want something, you have to work for it, so
Yeah.
it's determination, it's motivation, and that accountability piece.
Yeah. So tell us, what would it look like for a business to work with you on a life, on a life coaching? What can they expect?
Yeah, so obviously I have 15 years in sales and marketing experience. That's kind of my cup of tea. So when it comes to sales and building brands and helping businesses grow that way, helping sales teams grow, I can coach them on that piece. I'm also a certified carbon coach for businesses, so I can look at your carbon footprint and how you might be able to have other ways of helping the environment, and simple things like, if you have people that are traveling a lot, can we save on, emissions and things like that. And then when it comes to life coaching, you can do life coaching on an individual level, on a leadership level, and as well as just making sure that you're setting goals for your business. And then just doing quarterly check-ins, see how things are going. It doesn't have to be a weekly thing. With businesses, it could be working together for a couple of weeks to set everything up and then just checking in quarterly.
And do you give people homework? Is that what you do? Or
Yeah.
oh yeah. Look at her face. Oh yeah.
I've been told I have to find a new word for it, because with all the virtual learning right now, people don't want to hear the word homework, but
that's a good word. Action items.
So, and it's simple things like, I have a client right now that, wants to work on herself and working out, and we're starting simple and doing squats every day. And that's her goal, 20 squats every day. Simple. And a big thing with me, whether you are an individual or a business owner, is when you have reached your goal, I always ask everybody this: what is your reward to yourself? How are you going to reward yourself for reaching that goal? If your goal this week is to eat a healthy lunch every day this week, how are you going to reward yourself on Sunday when you've eaten 7 healthy lunches in a row?
Well, I can tell you my nutrition coach does not want to hear what my real answer is. So yeah, but yeah, I get it.
There has to be a balance, Melanie. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, you can't go full force into something. That's not life. That's not the way life works. You have to be honest with it, right?
That's an interesting point. Can you talk to us? So, I think we've all seen the SMART goals, specific, measurable. So talk to it, trackable. So talk to us just a little bit. We've got a little bit more time. Talk to us a little bit about realistic goals, right? So balance and how that applies.
Yeah, and balance is so important. You have to make sure that these are goals that are attainable, but goals that are big enough that you have a motivation around them. So maybe my end goal might not seem the most realistic to you, but the little goals that I'm doing leading up to that may end up changing that end goal. Right. So it's, maybe, I want to, have this $1 million company a year, because this is going to, I'm going to be able to give to the homeless. That's what I want to do. but how am I going to get there? You know, it might not be that $1 million mark. You know, maybe it's only 500,000, but it's about that the realistic goals in between, and being, like I said before, okay when they don't follow through, and when the expectation there has to change, because life happens.
So what do you do when that happens? Do you readjust the goal, or do you readjust the
Always
plan?
readjust
Oh,
the goal, and that's and you readjust how you're going to get there. You know, the goal stays the same, but the plan might detour. You know,
interesting. Yeah.
it's raining outside and there's a puddle. You have to now make a choice. Are you jumping in the puddle when you don't know how deep the puddle is? Are you walking around the puddle the long way? Or are you going to try and jump over it and not know if you're going to hit the other side? You have to then make choices.
Yeah.
Right? You know, they tell you to learn how to dance in the rain, right? You have to sometimes learn how to do things. And for me, I might be the type of person that says, hey, just jump in the puddle. We'll figure it out. I know how to swim. Let's go. Some other people might say, no, I'm going to walk around the puddle. So there's no right or wrong answer in how you deal with it. It just depends on you and where you are in that moment in your life. You know, if you're go, and you're like, I don't have time to walk around this puddle, so I'm going to have to jump, then that's what you have to do.
Cool. Does anyone have any questions for Jenna? I have so many takeaways. This has been great. We're all good. We'll all be like super goal oriented for the next little bit. So my key takeaway, I have to tell you, and I hope everyone had a good aha moment too, but my key takeaway, that whether it be business or personal, that your goal has to be something that's for you. I think a lot of us set goals in our business too, based on what we think other people's success, or what other people perceive success to look like. And, you know, I was sharing with Jenna that I worked with a life coach years ago, and I ended up quitting my job. This was like 20 years ago, a job that I thought I was happy and content in and wanted to grow in. And the life coaching actually showed me that so that's my key takeaway. So, you know, it's making those priorities based on what you want and what your business wants and needs. So this has been super valuable, Jenna. Thank you so much. It was nice to get away from COVID talk. God, right?
I didn't include any of that. That was not a goal.
Although my goal is to get vaccinated this year so I can see you all in person again, and we all have a great business after hours one of these days, and we can get back to some of our in-person events, because those are pretty special. So Jenna, thank you so much. Jenna's going to send me some collateral documents, and then Sandy will send those out to you. I just want to remind everybody, we will be doing these monthly. So our one coming up for February, I'm just working on a date, is going to be, we're back to COVID, but it'll be the tax implications of the different federal COVID programs. Laura, I haven't asked you yet, but I'm hoping you'll be on that. So we'll chat later. But we'll have a panel of accountants here in town that can talk to us about how the CERB or the payroll subsidy, all of those things will impact your tax reporting this year. And then we have a really fun new thing we're going to start doing. So on February 3rd in the morning, check it out on the website. We're doing a new program called Good Morning Halton Hills. And it's just going to be a quick, fun drop in for 10 minutes, drop in for an hour, but it'll be a networking opportunity. Grab your coffee. We can all share a little bit about our business. I'm going to be inviting a local charity to come on and talk to us a bit about what they're doing. So let's get back to our community. I know we're all on the computer and it's not the most fun, but we can make the best of it. So want to thank you all for being chamber members, and keep an eye on your email for some fun new stuff coming up. Great to see you, everyone. Bye.